Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Kristen with Monarch Plans, and today I wanted to do a little update on my goals for the year. So we hit July. It is the perfect time to do like little goal refresh. Both of these planners have a little section to do a little refresh. So that was what I wanted to get done, just so I could kind of redo my goals a little bit, because things have changed in the past 6 months, which are really, really good. Good progress and changes in a positive way, not negative. So I wanted to get those done. Some things stayed the same, some things changed, but I am excited to share those and kind of share where I'm going from here. As you may know, if you watch my videos from last fall into probably like January or so, you know I use both the MakseLife planner and the Powersheets planner. So that is something I've been doing this year. I don't know if I'll do that going forward. I feel like it kind of helps, but at the same time, you could always streamline, or I could always streamline into one planner if I wanted to. So I'll have to reassess and see what I want to do later this year. But for the time being, I kind of do very similar things in both of them because they have very similar formats, especially for their like goal setting mid-year. But I'll go through both and show you what I did, and then we can go from there. So the first thing I did was in my Powersheets. So let me put the MakseLife to the side and show you my Powersheets planner. So I have actually been doing my Powersheets pretty consistently throughout the first half of the year. There was a month in there where I didn't really do them or focus on them. And there's a lot of things that like weren't getting done. So I feel like it's just maybe this year and what I have going on, but I'm having a really hard time getting motivated, and I'm still trying to figure out what the issue is with that and what I need to do to get motivated. But what I did is, or what I'm going to do is show you what my goals were at the beginning of the year. And so you might not be able to see this, and maybe I'll try zooming in really quickly. But we have here my goals that I set at the beginning part of the year. So I have developing habits and routines that will enable me to be the healthiest me possible, such as like a health and wellness. I have a manage my finances in a way which brings further security to our family. Be intentional with how we treat our home and what we choose to include in our home. That includes like when our new house was finished. And then creating systems to promote growth and improve my connection with my audience and customers. This is mainly for Monarch Plans. Connect with my family meaningfully and often, and then taking time to consistently do things that fill my cup. So it's like a self-care goal. Okay, so sorry, I zoomed out. Of course, my camera battery died like right as I was getting started in this video, but let me show you now what I have for my redone goals for July. So what I have is, I'm trying to get back here to my refresh goals. So I pretty much kept very, very similar goals, just kind of reworded them because my focus has changed in a couple areas. So that's kind of what I focused on. Is in my Powersheets, I started my goal refresh process. It just seems a little bit more simple to me and straightforward. I went through and I did my little like cultivated life assessment and gave myself ratings. So it's just like very, very top level. I gave myself ratings in each of the categories and saw where I needed to improve and everything like that, versus in the MakseLife planner, that has like an actual quiz, like an assessment that you take to get your numbers. So I wanted to just see what was in my mind versus what I ended up getting in the assessment. And what I found was pretty surprising. So I'll share that in just a few minutes. I do have some personal stuff on the refresh page, so I'm not gonna show that, but I will tell you what I thought the number should be based on my Powersheets versus what the number was that I got from doing like the actual assessment in my MakseLife. And they were actually pretty different in some cases. So it's very, very interesting. But what I did is I refreshed my goals and wrote those in here. So the first goal is the exact same. I didn't change the wording whatsoever because honestly, I really, really need to focus on this in the upcoming 6 months. We're getting married, and that's not even my like main concern about this. I'm just realizing that it's super, super important, and now is the time in my life when I need to make it a priority, because when we decide to have kids, that gets harder. That's just kind of like a fact, is you end up having to take care of other people, and I can't be as selfish as I can be now, not being a mom or a parent. This goal, spend and save in a way that allows us to pay down debt and provide the things we need, plan for our wants. So this changed a little bit, mainly because we now have a mortgage. When I wrote my my goal before, we were still saving up for our house and for our down payment and for our moving and everything like that. Now we have our mortgage. Now we have everything, you know, like that comes along with owning a house. And so that's something we need to really take into account now. Obviously it was on my radar before, but now it's just a reality. This next one, complete setup of our home and get into a cleaning and maintenance routine. And so the goal before was like be intentional with what we bring into our home and what we have in our home. Now we did that. We decluttered. We only brought the things that really mattered. We're selling the other stuff. And now it's just setting up everything, getting, you know, things to decorate, any other furniture we need, and then maintaining and cleaning our house, which is a huge one. The next one is create systems to increase organization in my shop to promote better production processes. This is very similar to last time, but it's a little bit different. This is mainly like my Etsy shop stuff, because like printing and cutting and being a one-man shop, you know, one-man shop can be really, really hard sometimes, especially some of the sales volumes that come like when I do new releases and everything like that. So I'm really trying to be way better organized going forward. And then also increasing consistency in posting on social media to connect with my audience and share my planning process. So these are both like related. They're both Monarch Plans related goals. So that's why they're both green, but one is for my shop and one is for social media. The next one is spend quality time with Andrew to start our marriage with good habits and routines, which that one is a little bit different. I had it more like a family, general family, but I think for the next 6 months, I really want to focus on Andrew. I have a great relationship with my family that just needs to be maintained with phone calls and everything, but with Andrew, I think I can always and will always be working to be a better wife and partner to him. So I think that's a good focus for the last half of the year, especially when we get married and then just settling into married life. And then goal 7 is take time consistently to do things that fill my cup. And that's the same as before. And so what I did in here is I just went through each category and wrote down just some like basic things. It was just very, very high level, what came to my mind first, and just like what I need at the very, very basic level to get these goals like completed or at least make progress on them. So I did that for all of my goals. So that's what I did in my Powersheets. It was like the very first step in my goal planning process. It was taking the little refresh, like rating assessment, putting down my refresh goals, or at least what I thought they should be, and then going through and just putting in some notes of what I need to do and like mini goals or action steps to fulfill my goal. So that's what I did in my Powersheets. Let me move over to my MakseLife. And so we have here my life compass that I took just to refresh. Like these are the results from my life compass. So you can see here that I colored in the different categories, and it's based on my answers to these this assessment here. And so what I did is I just scored myself, and that's what I say is you take the assessment and the assessment gives you the number, versus in the Powersheets you are just kind of thinking, okay, like what number do I give to this category? And so I wanted to share like what I rated myself in the Powersheets versus what I actually got in here. And some of them are a little bit different. So for health and wellness, I got a 5 in the MakseLife. I gave myself a 4 in the Powersheets. For Monarch Plans, I gave myself a 5 in the MakseLife, and again, a 4 in the Powersheets. For home and physical environment, in the MakseLife, I got an 8 when I gave myself a 7 in the Powersheets. For family and relationships, I gave myself a 6, but I got an 8 in the MakseLife, so that was kind of interesting. For finances, I gave myself a 5 in the Powersheets, and I got a 7. For work, I gave myself a 7 and I got a 7, so that's the first one that's actually been like right on where it was supposed to be. This is a 7, and in the Powersheets I gave myself a 6, and then in recreation, which is fun and recreation, in here I gave myself a 6, and in here I got a 7. So the only one that was straight on was the work and learning category. in general, I gave myself lower scores in the Powersheets than I ended up getting in the MakseLife. So that was really interesting to me. Again, I could have just been having a bad day. That's a huge thing, is like you're going to give yourself lower scores if you're just not having a good day. So that's one of the things that I really like about the MakseLife, is it kind of takes all of these different things and then it averages them out and gives you a good score. So I can be really low in some things. Like I have a healthy self-image, I put a 3, but at the other side of it, you know, there's some things where I have 6 and everything like that. So it really kind of balances things out. When in the Powersheets, if I'm having a really bad like self-image day, I'm gonna give myself a really crappy score. That was just really interesting between the Powersheets and the MakseLife, and I kind of like doing that comparison. The other thing that's really nice about the MakseLife is I was able to compare my original compass, or my last compass, to this current compass. And so I actually increased from a 49 to a 54. So things are getting better for me, and mainly it happened in like the personal, fun and recreation, work, and finances and home categories. So where I didn't move at all are kind of the places where I wanted to do a little bit of work, and not necessarily in family and relationships because that's already pretty high. It's monarch plans and health and wellness. Those are kind of my focuses. So that's what I took from this like exercise of comparing my previous to my current, is yes, I improved, but there are still pretty clear where I need to make more improvements. So what I did in here is, again, took the assessment, scored myself, and then came in and redid my annual goals. And so this is a little bit different because I bought 2 MakseLife planners, so I had a blank version of this. If you only got one MakseLife planner, what's really helpful is they might have printables on their website of these pages, or you can always just write them down on like a separate sheet of paper or something like that. But because I had the blank versions, I just rewrote my goals and, you know, put some line items in here that are a little bit different than the goals I put in my Powersheets, especially because I didn't have like a goal for work and learning in my Powersheets. And I didn't really have a goal for personal in my Powersheets. So it takes my goals that I put in my Powersheets and then has me also think of them in a different way. So I, instead in the MakseLife, was looking at each of my goal categories and trying to figure out what I can do in each of these categories. Obviously, some of these fit into my Powersheets goals. So I have a financial goal in my Powersheets. I have a physical environment goal in my Powersheets. I have monarch plans that I broke into shop and social media. I have health and wellness in my Powersheets. Fun and recreation was one of them, and a family and relationships. So really the only ones I didn't have in my Powersheets were these 2 here, but they can still, and they do deserve my attention and work in the last half of the year. So I'll really quickly go through just what I have, and then we should be good to go. But generally things are very similar with the exception of a couple things. So for personal, I am part of Club Moxie, so I wanted to complete the modules and get those done on time. And I really want to focus on affirmations because I find that I'm doing a lot of like negative comparison to other people, and I'm just feeling like I'm not good enough in some aspects of my life and everything. So I really want to focus on affirmations and really moving past that, because I really want to look at my life. I have this in here, look at my life in a more positive and uplifting light. So that's kind of my goal for personal. For fun and recreation, I just want to like read, watch shows. We have a vacation plan for December, support Andrew's hobbies, and like take baths and pamper myself, because I don't really do that now. Like I don't pamper myself. I just kind of like am, you know, so I'd love to take care of myself and like take a bath and do my nails and all that kind of stuff, when like really in my mind, I'm like, well, the time I'm spending in the bath, I could be like designing a new kit, or I could be working on orders, but I need to take some time for me. For work and learning, I have a couple different things that are part of my work goals. So that's kind of like a nice thing to have, is I already set goals at work, so I can just kind of roll them over to here. For family and relationships, consistent catching up with Andrew's family, having some date nights, planning a fun and relaxing honeymoon, which is our December vacation, plan a staycation, put together new family traditions as the Ingwersons, maybe do like a Christmas card and stuff around the holidays, and then call my dad consistently just to catch up with him and make sure everything's going okay with him. For my health and wellness, doing my strength calendar and modifying it if I need to, getting into a stretching routine, doing cardio at least 4 times a week. That's just like a bike ride. It can be like 10, 20, 30 minutes. Doing Weight Watchers and making appointments for dentists, like gynecologist, general practitioner, dermatologist. Like I just want to catch up on all of that, especially after last year when a lot of stuff was canceled. And I want to start a meditation practice just to see if that helps in any way. For Monarch plans, get the shop a month ahead in terms of like my kits and everything. I am like a 1-person shop. I have no help from anybody on my shop. So right now I'm like a couple weeks ahead, and that's pretty good. But I would love to have the kits like done and dusted over a month ahead of time. And batch buying patterns and everything for my kits, doing modules to help me grow my shop, and then doing like social media and Etsy stuff hand in hand, because definitely like advertising and marketing really plays a big part in Etsy shop stuff. For social media, I need to batch film my videos, batch my Instagram posts and reels, simplify my editing style, and try vlogs and days in the life. I really want to do those, but I am terrified to do them. So I know that was a big goal at the beginning of the year, was like show my face and do vlogs, but I am so scared. Like guys, I'm so scared. So I just need to bite the bullet and do it. But it's really hard to just do it. So we'll see. And then finally, financial, budget by paycheck and YNAB routine, pay down a credit card, submit app for the public service student loan forgiveness because I am eligible. And then I need to track Andrew's new salary. He got a promotion and he's getting bonuses and stuff now. So I just need to look at that and really focus on that for a couple months to see what that looks like. And then I can incorporate that new salary into our finances. And then finally, for physical environment, create a cleaning schedule, a maintenance schedule, decorate specific places in our house, paint the house, and do stuff with our backyard. So you can see that the stuff in here, in a lot of cases, still matches or mirrors what's in my Powersheets. But in a lot of cases, they're a lot more specific in here. And I really like that they break them down into like the different areas of life. So that's kind of where I like the MakseLife is. I am like a huge category person. If you haven't seen my plan with me's, you know that like I plan in a planner now, the me planner, the Plum paper planner, with the me layout that's like super categorized. Every column and row is labeled. And so I'm like a very specific person that likes to categorize things. So having everything in like the different areas of life is really helpful for me. So that is why I chose to do this last and kind of take ideas from the Powersheets, but then plug them in where they fit here. And this is kind of what I'm going with for the rest of the year, and what I will funnel into like my monthly actions and my weekly actions, and then also help me when I'm doing my like Powersheets tending lists and everything like that. So ultimately, I feel like that is pretty much my update. There's a lot of stuff that's the same, but there are some things that are different, especially because we're in the house now. So before we were waiting for our house to be built, now we're in our house. We're done with that. We're getting married in August is a big one. And other than that, like Andrew has a new position. So there's little things that have changed that kind of like shift some of these goals, but in the scheme of things are very similar to where they were in the beginning of the year. My biggest focus is going to be my health and wellness. I say this all the time, and one of these days I will tell you guys that I accomplished my goal. It's my biggest struggle. So if you guys have any tips on like how to stick with like a health and wellness goal, it's super hard for me. So I'm open to any ideas or anything you have if you want to leave them in the comments. But other than that, I think that is it for my little goal update. I'll try and share my monthly goals going like from here on out. So every month when I make goals, I'll try and share them. I'll be using my MakseLife goal setting process, but like I mentioned, I'm in a different planner, so you probably won't see me use like the weekly spreads in here, but I will be doing like the weekly action items and the monthly actions and monthly goals and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be incorporating like the MakseLife and the Powersheets still, and I'll just try to give you guys little updates along the way. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you have any questions, just let me know. I know goals are kind of crazy and they shift, and everyone has like very personal goals and everything like that, but hopefully me sharing mine can inspire you to either get back on the train with yours or give you ideas for new goals you might want to incorporate. But anyways, again, if you want to get a hold of me, you can use the comments down below, or you can also find me on Instagram at monarch_plans. I'd be happy to have a conversation about goals if you have any questions. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. Bye.